Oh boy, what number are we at now? I don't even know. I'm gonna have to look. But thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. We've got some awesome chip tunes this week. We're gonna be taking a look at the Chip Tunes Equals Win mixtape. What mixtape number is that? Let's see. This is another release you can get on Bandcamp for free. It's Chip Tunes Win Volume 6. And I believe all the past volumes of this are free as well. This is much more robust than the U Collective mixtape. Although the U Collective mixtape was very, very good, this has got some. This is 52 tracks. Man, oh man, goodness. So, gonna play some tracks off of this. We're gonna talk about some Nintendo. We're gonna talk about some H1Z1. We're gonna talk about. I got a lot of really cool stuff to go over. It's been a good week. But first, let's check out Chiptunes Win Mixtape Volume 6. So this first artist is a guy I used to play a long time ago, 8-Bit Chintendo. 8-Bit Chintendo released an album, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but back in 2010, I used to play that old album here on the air, and I told Vintage Video Game Geek about it, and he ended up using lots of songs off of it in his videos. And the Retro Rejects podcast he did for a long time with NES Complex, they took their theme song off of that album. Well, here is 8-Bit Chintendo again. I don't know exactly when this track came out, but it has to be in the last year or so. So yeah, let's revisit a really cool NES sound. This is a guy who it's a clear Famitracker kind of style, but Famitracker with the Konami expansion. Konami games had an extra chip. They could push their sound a little bit further than the rest of the NES developers could. You know, so if you're learning Famitracker and you're remaking some of this stuff, you got to enable a special option to achieve that Konami sound. So here's 8-Bit Chintendo. The name of the song is I Got the Beat, and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Listen closely. Think of games like Snake's Revenge. Tiger Claw Radio. What a good track. I like it. It doesn't quite... Not every track needs a MIDI guitar. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody needs to chase the animated Gucci sound. 8-bit Nintendo's got... clearly the Konami sound expansion sound chip is being used. But I think he's also got his own style. He's crafted into a recognizable sound that I can match up with this guy. So kudos to him for doing that. All right. I want to do all kinds of stuff this week, but the reality is, right now on the East Coast, we're getting pounded with severely damaging winds. And in this house, the power has gone off like 10 times today. So I got to be very careful and make sure I don't lose my work. So let's do this. We are going to shoot over to the Vancast. Oh, there we go. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning. It's brisk 50-degree Monday. Spring is coming. It's starting to feel like spring out. I did that move where on Friday I drove to work, had my coat on, got through the day. It was looking nice outside in the afternoon on Friday, so I left my coat in the office. So now I'm driving to work, and it's nice and brisk out right now, but I don't have a jacket. So even though it's only 50 degrees, I still feel like I'm sitting in my car freezing, which is like a silly like third grade mistake, you know. Back in elementary school, you go through class, you leave your jacket in class by your cubby hole, and then you go home and your mom's like, "Where's your jacket? So bad I'm gonna bring your jacket home." Yeah, that's what childhood is like. I'm glad it's over, to be honest. So I got a number of things to go over. Number one, let's talk about Leisure Suit Larry, the computer game from the 80s. Indie Gala has a bundle of the Leisure Suit Larry games on Steam for like $5.99. So I picked that up this morning when I was cruising around on the internet. Got it all set up in my Steam account, and it's the worst port of Leisure Suit Larry 1 I think I could possibly imagine. First of all, I don't think they can port DOS games that are that old to Steam. Well, I don't think it can be done. Zork was ported to Steam better than Leisure Suit Larry. First of all, in Leisure Suit Larry, they have a number of security questions that they ask you. Hey, if you're 18 years old, you should know the answers to these. And they're like pop culture questions from the 1980s. So if you're 18 now, good luck answering them then. If you went and downloaded Leisure Suit Larry off of any abandonware site, Control, Alt, and X together will get you through those questions. Control, Alt, X, it's a shortcut. Questions go away, you jump right into the game. So first of all, they removed that Control, Alt, X crack. It's not there. So you got to answer those questions. And it's the screen is all stretched out, and you don't have any resolution controls. You don't have any sort of there's nothing. There's nothing. I tried to give it like a little playthrough this morning. There was all kinds of problems. It was not good. Better off running it in DOSBox. Getting your DOSBox running and get yourself a copy that you can command prompt into. Because I gotta be honest, if you're getting it on Steam, you're just getting a DOSBox version anyway. A gimped DOSBox version at that. But that's okay. I bought the bundle because I wanted to play Leisure Suit Larry 3. Or was it 3 or 2? The one where it looks like Space Quest 3. I think that must be 2. So that's cool. So the first one was garbage, but that's okay. That's one game out of like 6 or 7 games in a bundle. That's all right. I got Leisure Suit Larry 1 hanging around somewhere. Not a big deal. Just a heads up for any of you guys who spot that bundle on Indie Gala. And could we really not get a collection on Steam? King's Quest, Space Quest, Police Quest, they've all got collections.
fairly priced. I mean, they're not cheap if you buy them regularly priced, like $10, $20, something like that. But the Leisure Suit Larry games, which, by the way, no matter what anybody tells you, those games are cut from the same cloth. Those games are put up individually. And that's why I think this bothered me enough to talk about it on the air, because Leisure Suit Larry 1 is being sold all by its lonesome, and it is a big, fat MS-DOS turd. The Steam version of it, anyway. Alright. That's alright. What else we got? I was getting, and Monday morning, I was getting Tiger Claw Radio all set up, get it out to the masses, and I didn't manage to get the Podomatic version up. And I noticed the Podomatic numbers are not what they used to be. I think people still may click in every once in a while, but I don't think in 10 years I've ever had, or however many years it's been, 8, 9 years, I don't think I've ever had anybody become a fan through Podomatic. So my question is to those of you who listen and tend to interact, do any of you use the Podomatic feed at all? Anybody? As of right now, I'm still maintaining it, but I'm just trying to take a poll to see if it's utilized at all by the normal listeners, the people who I know are listening. Yes, no, not a big deal. Just trying to figure out what's going on. Another thing that happened was I sat down to, I wanted to do some recording for the Talking Nintendo series that I've been doing. Every week I put up a video where I'm going through my NES collection one by one, pull the games out, and just give them all a rundown. Mostly the goal is to talk about things you're not going to see on Wikipedia. Personal stories, impressions, things I remember, that sort of stuff. And what I noticed is there's certain games where that's actually been difficult to do. Sorry. Get therapy if you're angry. There we go. Yeah, and there's certain games where when they come up, they make me stop dead in my tracks. And one of those games is Deadly Towers. I had time to record Talking Nintendo this morning about Deadly Towers. I don't remember a whole lot about that game. I went out with my friend and I bought it. We were cruising around one day and brought it home. The whole time we were driving home, he was like, "You bought Deadly Towers?" I was like, "Why? Is it no good?" And he just responded with, "You bought Deadly Towers?" What's wrong with it? It's just Deadly Towers. You bought Deadly Towers? And he wouldn't go into detail. And I got it home and I played it, and of course it was what everybody says it is. But to me, it was a $1.99 Nintendo game, 5-6 years ago, before Nintendo games were the financial powerhouse that they are now. But now I got this game in my collection, and in order to finish the project, I got to talk about it, which means I got to play it, because I don't remember anything about it. So, in order to keep the ball rolling... Oh, what's going on here? I just stumbled onto a big construction site, like deep in the woods. I'm on like a single lane road. There's nowhere to go here. Oh boy, a lot of flashing lights. Come on. I guess it's not that bad. It's just like a big 18-wheeler blocking a tiny little residential road. Yeah, hey, good morning. Morning. Trying to get to work, please. Alright, I think we made it. I think we're alive again. What time is it now? 6:32? Not too bad. Not too bad. The sun's starting to come up, which is nice. For the past, I don't know how long, couple of months, whatever it is, it's dark the whole way I drive to work. So now the sun's coming up a little earlier, so I get a little sunshine. A little vitamin D, good for the bones, Oh boy. I streamed on Twitch over the weekend. Saturday night I streamed some Jill of the Jungle finished up episode 1, poked around at episode 2 a little bit. So subscribe to Tiger Claw TV on Twitch so you can join me on those. I was going to do a little streaming this morning, but I had to work on getting Tiger Claw TV posted. So Monday mornings are not going to be a stream day. They're going to be TCR prep day. And it was fun. I'm still streaming to myself. I don't have any followers on Twitch. But the videos are going up. I'm going to take the second Jill of the Jungle stream. I'm going to chop it down just a little bit, and I'll get it up on YouTube as well. So that's been kind of a fun project to work on the side. And, we'll see. Maybe something will come of it, maybe not. I have to assume no, because I look at not only the games that I'm streaming, but the games I'm interested in streaming, and none of them are like the games that draw people in. I don't think anybody's going over to Twitch saying, hey man, who's streaming Janitor Joe right now in MS-DOS? Anybody? Any streams for Janitor Joe? Can you even stream Janitor Joe? JumpJoe.exe on Twitch. It forces you to list what your game is. It has to be in their directory. So if you were gonna play something like the MS-DOS version of Duck Hunt, good luck, brother. Good luck. I don't know how I would do that. But we'd find a way. We would find a way. I think you'd have to start by streaming Jill of the Jungle. And then you'd be like, alright, in the middle of the stream, well, we're done with Jill of the Jungle now, let's play some 1980s bulletin board system games that were made by single developers who never saw a dime for their work. Like David Kong, the Donkey Kong clone for MS-DOS. That guy didn't even put the year it was developed in the game, so there's no way to know when it came out. Yeah, I last night when I wasn't worried about producing content, I was playing MS-DOS games. It really took me back, man. Really took me back. There's a game called Alpha Man that I've been digging. Okay, your turn, buddy. Alpha Man. 1980s MS-DOS game. I'm going to use a phrase I don't like to use. It was a roguelike. You know how I know? Because it was a lot like Rogue. Graphic set, a lot like Rogue. Randomly generated dungeons, check. Turn-based action, check. Massive inventory management, check. RNG rules the world, check. It was like Rogue, but it had that Dwarf Fortress feel where there was a world map, and each character on the world map brought you to an entire map of its own. And then in the world map you would find buildings, and you could go in the buildings, and then in each building would be a multi-level dungeon like you would find in Rogue. So, very much like the original Rogue, except much, much bigger in scale, and set in a post-apocalyptic New York. Very, very cool game. Very cool. That got me back into good old MS-DOS games. So, playing Alpha Man. Every time I get into MS-DOS, I go through and get a bunch of MS-DOS games set up, and usually only about a quarter of them get played. I think it's like that with every system. PlayStation 2 games, I start buying them, they start going unplayed. Steam games, are the worst offender. But Alpha Man was the big one. I've been playing Alpha Man the past few nights before bed. It's great. It is a great game. I'm looking through the help files. There's no... You load it up, and like on the title screen, it's like, please distribute this game freely. Amen. You read through the help files, it's like one guy, and he's like, hey, if you like this, evaluate the software for a reasonable amount of time, and then send $15 to this address. No amount of time is specified, it just says a reasonable amount of time. I don't know, I guess 30 years is reasonable. What do you guys think? It's good though, man. I would send $5 to that guy. I'm not going to use an address from the 1980s. I don't even know if he's still alive anymore, but that's a guy that deserves $5, in my opinion. I'll have to post a video about it on YouTube. Sometimes with these old obscure games, I get comments from the developers. That's like one of my favorite things. Maybe he'll reach out to me and let me know. Who made Alpha Man? Are you still alive? Great game. All right. What are we doing? 14 minutes in. I said I wasn't going to do these long van casts anymore, but I had a lot to go over this morning, so I hope it's not excessive. I actually played video games, and I wanted to discuss them. All right, before it gets too crazy, why don't I shoot it back to Panzer Studios? I'm going to go to work. You guys go back to the nice, comfy, lush Panzer Studios, you lucky dogs. See you there.
Back again here in the comfortable Panzer Studios, as always. Just want to take a quick minute to thank the sponsors of our Patreon. This is a Patreon-sponsored show. These guys who offer of their resources to make sure this comes back every week, it makes a huge difference in my life. And I can only offer these guys at this time two things. One, they get the show a little bit earlier than everyone else. It's Friday night right now. I'm doing the best I can to make a Friday early drop. And also, I list off the names of these distinguished gentlemen in the TCR Hall of Fame. And they are Hemrock, James, Sendu, Tecmo Balls, Darabka, Six Health of Fury, and the Cartridge Brothers. Thank you guys very much for supporting the show and sharing of your resources. I really hope like you feel you're getting your money's worth, because I'm doing the best. I'm doing the very best I can. All right, let's go back to the Vancast.
Morning. We'll see if we can make this happen. It's Thursday. Thursday, I'm doing a Vancast on the way to work. It's about 44 degrees out right now, so it's a little brisk. Not what I'd say is freezing cold. It's kind of nice that there's nothing on the windshield. It's not foggy out, which is a nice change of pace. I posted a video this morning before I left about my first Doom WAD, which was pretty satisfying. Just popped it open and took a look. I mean, it's got a lot of problems, but I mean the map itself, but it's nice after all this time to have completed a map in Doom, so to speak. At least something that you can load, play through, however bad it is, and actually get to the end, which is pretty sweet. There's a bundle out in the internet right now on humblebundle.com of a bunch of fighting games. This has got to be the best bundle I've seen in quite a while. Now, it's tough for me because these are all games that I have, right? Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Rivals of Aether, was it Guilty Gear, XX2, Accent Core. What else is in this bundle? The $30 game from the Blaze Blue series. Not the $40 one, but the $30 one. All this for about $10. And I gotta say, there's some good stuff in that bundle. I don't really talk about bundles on the air too much anymore, but that one, oh, what a bundle. The only game in all the stuff that's in there that I don't have is Guilty Gear, I don't even know how you say it, Guilty Gear Third Sign, whatever, one of the later Guilty Gear games. That is the one and only game I don't have in the bundle, so I couldn't quite justify the $10, because you can get that game for just about that at any given sale. This would have been a great bundle to go halvesies with on somebody who doesn't have a lot of fighting games. It's got some good ones in there, man. Arcana Heart 3, that's a pretty fun game. I play that whenever I get together with my friend who also plays fighting games. So that's like a weird one where in my Steam account you can see it probably only has a couple of hours in it, but oh man, had some good fun with it. Problems and all, not a perfect game, but did have some good fun. So that was cool. It was cool to see a bundle that was like stuff that excuse me, stuff that I enjoy. Because even though I passed on it, it kind of restored my faith that such a thing could exist. Hang on a second. Alright. I think this is something I'm going to be mentioning every time, but I got my birthday coming up on the 6th. It's today March 1st. Today's March 1st. I guess it'll be I guess it'll be my birthday like right after this comes out. So that means probably next week I'll be able to talk about Ken Pa's Obsidian fight stick, a $200 fight stick, which I got at MagFest, paid for half with my allowance budget and paid for half with my birthday budget. So downside was I had to wait 3 months for it to show up. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, birthdays are always fun, aren't they? It's kind of tough now that I'm trying to lose weight. I'm on Weight Watchers. Typical, stereotypical New Year's resolution kind of deal. But, you know, here we are in March, and I stuck with it, so I found some pretty good success. 19.9 pounds I've lost at this point. So, hopefully next Sunday when I weigh in again, I'll pass the 20-pound loss mark, and I'll have to celebrate somehow. They say if you celebrate those milestones, you're more likely to succeed. So I like to do something whenever there's a big one. I bought a record when I hit 15 pounds. I'll probably buy another record when I hit 20 pounds. I don't know how much of a celebration that is. But the point is, I would always think of celebrating as eating something, right? And here comes my birthday. What do you eat on your birthday? Cake, right? You get a cake. Get a nice big slice of cake. You know, get some candles on the top. So, of course, we're still going to do that. We got the kids and everything, but like my daughter's birthday, which was in February, I had like the tiniest little slice of cake because I didn't want to ruin all the progress I've made in Weight Watchers. And I got about halfway through it and stopped. And then my daughter, who was sitting next to me, looked over and said, "Daddy, eat your cake." So yeah, so cake will be had. It's funny how preoccupied I can be with these types of things now. But, you know, it's cool. I'm looking forward to it. I've also made it a point to not be one of these people like who hates it and complains when you offer treats. Back in 2012, I had an internship. It was like the first time I ever worked in an office. And I'm sure I've told this story on the air before, but it always sticks with me in terms of like office life and other people who work in offices. I brought donuts several times during that internship. It lasted 3 months, summer internship. And the people I was working with at that time were, by and large, much older than me. So when I would bring in the donuts, the reaction would be very negative. "Oh, you're trying to ruin my diet." I still can't, saying those words, I still can't believe how ridiculous it sounds. "You're trying to ruin my diet. You're a bad influence." How about you just not eat the donuts? I was just trying to be nice and you know, bring something and kind of make people happy at least a little bit. "You're trying to ruin my diet." So I just remember how absurd that was. And how that felt, trying to extend the olive branch and just getting sourness back. So I've made it a point to not be that person. And I've had that situation a couple of times too. Treats have been offered, and it's important to be gracious. It's like this. If somebody is like, "Dude, I got this great Nintendo game," right? And I love it so much. My favorite Nintendo game, and it's not that expensive either, so I bought another one, and here you go, you can have a copy too. And it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or some famously bad Nintendo game, but it's really given to you in earnest. I think the appropriate response would be, "Yeah, I don't know, man, this game has a reputation, but hey, it's so cool that you, and thanks for giving me one." You know, you got it. I don't know. I just feel that like. I feel that's a situation that calls upon a certain amount of humanity, however you decide to reply. It's just like if you slap the game or the chocolates or whatever it might be out of the person's hands and go, "Hey, you do not bring that crap here. You do not. That is not what we do here." "Hey, let me tell you something. We don't play that kind of crap around here. I'll tell you something. Because that was the kind of response I got. I just wanted to bring in donuts. I'd never worked in an office before. You know, in the supply depot, when I was in plumbing, on Fridays when they had donuts out, that was a good day. That made people's day to go in there and get a donut. I don't know. People are weird though. It's a different environment. People are older. Whatever. How about if I brought in carrots? Hey guys, want some carrots? Brought in carrots for everybody. Yummy, yummy. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I'll tell that story until the day I die, I think. Because I think it really speaks to how we should treat each other. All right. What are we, 9.5 minutes in? It's getting hard for me to gauge how long the podcast is going to be while I'm doing these van casts. Because I'm starting to think that it's a bad idea to go over the 1 hour mark. I think once you have an hour and change, I think the listenership gets cut in half. So that's something I'm going to work on. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like longer podcasts or no? That's a question I don't think I've ever asked. Like, I've always thought about, but I've never really asked, is in terms of length of podcasts, at least when it comes to TCR, what do you guys think? Do you like longer? Do you like shorter? Is there a point where you check out? Or is there a point where you're more or less likely to click in? Let me know what you think. This is something I think would help me out a lot to know the ins and outs of. All right, and I'm going to press stop on this thing as soon as it's safe to do so, and I'll see you guys back at Panzer Studios.
Oh my gosh, we're 22 minutes and 55 seconds in, and I'm just remembering this. Chrono Trigger. Can we please talk about how Chrono Trigger is available on Steam now? And when it was released, it got like almost universally negative acclaim. And not because there was anything wrong with it. It's just like, this is a game that we've had on iOS forever, and we were all playing on emulators in high school. You're selling it to us for $15 on Steam. I'm loading it up now so we can take a look at some of the negative responses. But I was really shocked. I agree that they've been tight-fisted with their releases, you know. Some of these games come out and it's like, well, we should have had Chrono Trigger on Steam from the beginning. You know, you should have put all your back catalog on Steam so we could buy it. So let's take a look. Chrono Trigger. There it is. So it has a pretty basic vanilla banner. So we're not talking about Chrono Trigger Enhanced Edition. We're not talking about some sort of new, you know, thing with any new features to speak of. This is being sold as vanilla Chrono Trigger, and it currently, all reviews, it says there's been 300, and they are mostly negative. This came out February 27th. Today is the 2nd of March, so just a few days ago. Oh my gosh. All my curators hate it. A no-effort iOS port with crap graphics filters and a crap UI, sold for $15 when we were all emulating it for free back in high school. Buying this means you condone it. I guess if you're a PC guy and you're anti-emulation and you want to try and stay ethically on the level, it's finally available. So there's that. Let's go down to the user reviews, though. This is a low-effort, poor quality port. Avoided at all costs. I do not want to believe all the negativity behind this game due to me being a blindly loving fanboy for this game, but it's awful. Compared to the SNES version, which runs the game runs at half the frame rate, as the frame skips, making it animate in a very choppy fashion. The filter tries to smooth out the image, but it's about as effective as pouring bleach into your eyes. Please don't ever try that. But to make it even worse, the game is zoomed in and more pixelated than ever before. Never mind, hand me that bleach. No, seriously, don't do this. The HUD for menus and whatnot is serviceable, but it feels like a bootleg knockoff. Play this on an emulator with something like RetroArch or SNES 9X. Yeah, it's not legal, but to be fair, the quality of this port shouldn't be legal either. Ouch. Do not buy. My goodness. So according to this review, the picture is all zoomed in. That must be like the way they ported it so that it would look on a phone zoomed in. That's really terrible. I kind of I get it that some ports are going to be bad, but this is Chrono Trigger. This was a game to be revered for a very long time, and as far as I'm concerned, it deserved better than this. Like, what happened? This was like one of the last great 16-bit sprite-based RPGs. Unless you start dipping into the PS1 era, and then we had like Suikoden and whatnot. Oh man, what can you say? All right, Chiptunes equals win, Volume 6. This is Fark and Sacho. This would be what, track 24? And the name of the song is Puddle. It's a track. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Let's do some... Okay, well, hold on a second. I gotta make sure and save this. So this is the fail bag. This is where I read your comments, questions, anything you have. Look, it's just us here. Just me and a couple of you guys out there. That's all it is. That's all Tiger Claw Radio is. It's a very humble little operation. But it makes it easy for us to talk and communicate and have a dialogue. So the fail bag is where I read the comments, questions, anything you have. So let's see what we got. Desm101 writes, wow, that's a bummer about the 2 Saturn consoles. Dig all the chiptune music you've been playing on here. Thanks, man. Maybe I'll try again with a Saturn one day. I tried to convince my friend to get one, but he was like, I'm kind of getting out of the physical media stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy the chiptunes. I dig them as well. I really do like them a lot. It's also something I do to kind of break things up, because old time radio used to do that. Old time radio was all live, so they would have to. They had an in-house band that would play a musical number while they would prepare for whatever the next thing was. So if you go back and listen to like the Bob Hope or Martin and Lewis or something like that, or Abbott and Costello, but between each bit they would have an in-house singer, and that's kind of where I got the idea for the format. And let's see what else we got. And Sega Saturn, yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Sega Saturn at all, but I would try again, I think, at some point. Demez writes, dude, check out the DOS game Roger Ramrod. I can't find the binary, but I found a site with the game, streaming Flash or whatever. Report back what you think. Low, too funny. Plays like Duke Nukem / Doom, controls sort of. Hint. To start, push up, down, up, down, up, down on KB once on the keyboard once the game is loaded. All right, man, let's take a look. What'd you say it was? Roger Ramrod? Okay. I want to see what this game is. Roger Ramrod. Is it a DOS game? It's in the Internet Archive. Archive.org, I guess, has a listing for it. Give it a second to open up here. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Is it streaming only? Upload. All right, I will favorite this. I'm going to finish TCR, and we will check it out. Always like to hear about cool oddities out there on the internet. I think you find out about the best stuff from word of mouth. So thanks for the heads up, and I will I'll give it a whirl. We'll talk about it next week. The rest of you guys, Roger Ramrod, take a look on look it up on Google and see what you can see. Thanks for writing in, man. It's always good to hear from you. Lastly, we got one from Sean, the Gaming Beast, my good friend. He says, I do enjoy the chiptunes, some more than others, but that's personal preference. Arena is actually pretty sweet, if not a bit basic. It's more polished. It is more polished than Arena. I think he means Daggerfall is more polished than Arena, which is a bonus. And you can travel through all of Tamriel. Play it with a guide to beat the main quest. I should really make that XCOM vid one day. I just got to motivate myself. Thanks for the shout out for the Beastcast, man. Got to get some new ones out again. Sims 2 could be chill too, for sure. Was also fun to mod. Yeah, you're right, it was. Question of the Beast. Do you have any after-hour gaming with work colleagues? If no, which games would be appropriate? I've done that a couple of times. We play Fortnite, Battle Royale Fortnite, because it's free, and it's pretty fun and pretty accessible. I tried to get some video games going at my work in the past, and everybody was kind of lukewarm about it. There's some people now coming aboard who dig the games, which is really cool and promising for the future. But if you're trying to get a game going with people in your job, you want to pick the most accessible games. I was only successful when we picked something that was free. So, yeah. I also think I have to be open to what other people play. Like, I'm not into League of Legends, and I know that's played by some other people. Yeah. So, here's the thing. Your work crowd, I think, is like its own beast and not indicative of, I think, anything else in life. So I can't really take, I play these games with my friends on the internet and we have a good time, so I'll bring them to my friends from work and we'll also have a good time. It doesn't really work that way. But I don't know. That's about all I have to say about that. Thanks for writing in, my man, the Beast, Sean, the Gaming Beast. Let's see. I think that might wrap it up for the fail bag. Let's head back to the nextround.net, and we're gonna just take a look, see if there's any kind of comments. No, nothing there. Let's take a look, see if there's anything else worth reading on other YouTube stuff. I must be missing something because I was sure there was one from Alex Swingle that I read earlier in the week. For some reason, I'm not seeing it. There were some comments on the MenuWorks video, which was awesome because another example of my old MS-DOS videos doing well. Tim Terho writes, I never used this program, but after watching your video, I got interested in it. I don't know if this is WinWorld PC version. I don't know if this WinWorld PC version will work, but I'll try it out. We'll see. So, yeah. Hey, thanks, man. Best of luck, and I hope you get your menus set up. Let's see. Backing it up a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Bayou Billy. I think we read that already, did we? Brian Joyner, which is so awesome to see comments from people I don't recognize. I'm glad to hear that someone else likes Bayou Billy. I really like it too. I still have my childhood copy. I can beat it legitimately. I beat it as a kid, and I beat it about 2 years ago. It's super tough, though not impossible. It could have been much better with some gameplay tweaks on the side-scrolling fighting stages. It's not so hard to fight the enemy and not get hit off at least once. You have to do a weird circle dance around them and use the jump kick a lot. If you play them like Double Dragon and run up to them, you won't last long. It gets a little better when you get the whip in later levels, but even then it's a challenge to keep it. The Zapper stages I love too, and the music is superb. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one liking this game. Awesome, Brian. You are a better gamer than me because I certainly could not beat Bayou Billy legitimately ever. It's awesome to hear that somebody was able to do it. Somebody left a comment on my old video about games being removed from Steam. He said the first Mafia is on Steam again. Yeah. I know. Here we go. I don't know why this wasn't showing up on my main page, but Alex Swingle writes at minute 31, this is in regards to the last podcast, you being worried about your Twitch streams would trash up your channel. All of your unboxing videos trash up the channel, so I wouldn't be concerned about quality at this point. Yeah. Why do I even bother? This was the first time I heard from my friend Alex in like 3 weeks. So thanks for that. I think that might be everything. Yeah, I think it is. Look, alright guys. Alright. Listen, whatever's brought you here 48 minutes and 35 seconds into the podcast, thanks for spending some time with me. I know this one is shorter than usual, but again, I'm trying to hustle and get it done so that I can have a Friday release for the patrons. And also, there's a storm outside that can knock the computer off at any given time. So, best of luck this week, guys. I'm wishing you all the best in the world I possibly can. It's tough. It's tough out there. But stick with it. I'm rooting for you. I really am. I'll see you next week.